This was my first video. First of all, I just want to tell my story. I'm 33, about to be 34. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a bone disease in my left side of my face, and I am an advocate for not only my bone disease but for rare diseases in general. And I just want to tell you about my story. It started when I was 13. I got a tooth pulled, and the swelling never went down from the tooth being pulled, so they did a biopsy and came in and just handed me a copy out of the dictionary of what the disease was, because they had no clue, and sent me on my way. I thankfully didn't have any bone pain at the time. I just had severe headaches that started at 13, and eventually the headaches worsened really bad, and by the time I was 15, they found a brain tumor on my pituitary gland covering it, and I immediately had to have surgery to remove that, and they ended up having to take my entire pituitary gland. So that process alone caused my bone disease, as being fibrous dysplasia, to upgrade to McCune-Albright syndrome. And the bone disease I have is fibrous dysplasia, and it's where the bone turns into fibrous tissue, and it can grow for the rest of our lives. We have no cure, only treatment is surgeries, and you can cause tumors, obviously, and cysts for the rest of our lives as well. No cure, only treatment, surgery. And McCune-Albright syndrome is fibrous dysplasia related with pituitary problems, and I had mine removed fully, so I now was diagnosed with McCune-Albright also, and I was 15. And then when I had the first surgery, they went through up here and went through to get up in my brain up there, and they removed the tumor and my entire pituitary gland, and I felt like I was dying when I woke up. I just knew something was wrong. And when you have that surgery, you get tubes in your spine because you're leaking spinal fluid, and they have to monitor it on how much can leak and whatnot. And within 6 days, I woke up and my bed was covered in spinal fluid, and up to those 6 days, like, I couldn't move my head. Like, the pain was just, it was completely unreal. And so I immediately got rushed into the ER. It was spinal fluid, so they scheduled me for again, and then they had to go back up there, but this time they had to take tissue from my thigh. So then when I woke up that time, like, I knew that, I remember telling my mom, like, I know I'm okay this time. Within 3 months, that, like, aggravated my bone in my jaw because of how they went through my mouth and whatnot. So I needed my first surgery for my bone disease, and that was 3 months after the 2 brain surgeries. So they went in that first time and shaved it down, and that's all they did that time. And that was all in the year 2000. And then and during this time, like, I still hadn't gone one day without a headache, And then the bone pain after that brain surgery had started and never stopped. And then 2002 came, and I had been pulled from school a couple years prior, so most of my high school was at home because I couldn't attend school or anything because of pain. And 2002 is when I graduated from high school, but I graduated from homeschool, and I had a surgery to just shave down some bone again, but they found I had some testing done so I could go to nursing school to get an okay to start. And of course, you know, the scan showed a new tumor, and this time it was in my jaw and my bone, and I needed surgery ASAP again. So this time they went in and they shaved it down, but they also removed some and used some titanium plates this time. Surgery went okay that time, but pain, you know, still was worse. And then I was not able to work then, just like now, nor attend college. I was already disabled. And then in 2004, in March, I had my first rib graft surgery. They tried to take out as much of the disease out of the jaw as they could, so they replaced it with one of my ribs, and that required plates and whatnot, and that surgery went okay. And then December that year of 2004, I had a screw come out through one of the openings of my mouth up here. And when that happened, I had to have emergency surgery to fix that. And then there was an infection from the screw, and they ended up finding, I think, 3 screws that was out of the plate. So they had to completely remove that plate and put in a new one. So then they also took out more bone that had grew and put in another rib graft from the other side of me. And then on that surgery, because I have McCune-Albright syndrome and my pituitary is gone, I also have diabetes insipidus, which is pretty much water diabetes. And that surgery, the nurses had gave me, or not even the nurses, the endocrinologist that care for me before, during, and after surgeries, had given me fluids on top of my diabetes insipidus medicine before, during, and after. And by the end of surgery to the next morning, my sodium was at 111, which was, I was about to die. And by the grace of God, like, I made it, but I started not being able to talk or walk, and we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know about what happens, you know, when your sodium, nobody even told us at the hospital that something happened with my sodium. Like, I just got sent home like everything was okay. And then within a few days, like, I just remember I would start talking and I couldn't. And I started hitting myself, having tremors just really bad. And so my mom immediately rushed me to the ER. By the time we got there, like, I had to get belted down because the tremors were bad. Like, I was hitting nurses. They still didn't know what was going on. I think one doc even thought I was having a reaction to Benadryl because I took that to sleep because of the pain. But unfortunately, it was brain damage, and it caused not my sodium being that low, but when they raised it back up, they raised it within 3 hours from 111 to 145. And that gave me the brain damage. And I had chronic hyponatremia, and I should have died. Like, doctors still don't know how I survived that. But I lost a couple years of my life, like having to get help walking. Like, I don't have a lot of memories of those, 2 years. The first 2 years, it was really bad. And we found out within a week that my pons on the back of my head's where the brain damage was. And today, it being 13 years later, I still feel like a child inside. It's really hard to explain, because I try to be and look as a grown woman, but inside, like, I really feel like a child. Like, every birthday, even pieces of gray hair I get are weird to me, because how I feel. But I try to do the best I can at overcoming stuff. I still have tremors. I'm thankfully off tremor medicine now, but they're still real bad every day. There's a lot I can't do, obviously. Well, in 2006, they had done a skin graft because my eye had got so low down here, like it was pushing. Because as you can see, my eyes are, unlevel. This one's out and up, and but it was sagging, like really low. So they had to do a skin graft from my ear to my eye. That all went well, of course. And then in 2000, I didn't have no more surgeries till 2013. And then I had another brain surgery, and they had to go through the back of my head, because now the bone disease is growing into my cranial nerve, and that gave me the diagnosis of trigeminal neuralgia, which is called the suicide disease because all the pain. And it's bad. It stays bad nonstop. Like, there's no relief whatsoever in a day. And anyway, that surgery went well. And then 2014, I had a fat graft where they used some of my stomach to put up there to fix that problem again from my eye being fixed. So now, today, or a year and a half ago, the disease has took all my teeth, so I have none. And then the dentist had made my teeth before my bone had stopped growing, and the fact that they look like, I don't even know what, horse's teeth. I mean, they're huge, so kind of thank God they don't fit, but they'll never fit my mouth, so I have nothing. So obviously what I eat and all that is very limited, but I deal with it. I mean, it's just part of my journey. I have lots of illnesses and stuff that I have to deal with, including the nonstop pain every day. I just now, after 12 years, have been put on pain medication. I gone so long just fighting to not be on it, because anybody like me that has to deal with nonstop pain, it's the last thing we want to do, no matter what people think. And I obviously don't have no kids. I'm single. I am fortunate, very fortunate, to be able to be the caretaker for my niece. And me and my mom also not only are her caretaker, but we have her sister also, and it's just a blessing. It gives me a reason to be up every day. No matter how I feel, like I know that I have to wake up, and it's been that way for 4 years so far, and it's something that I needed, and I know that her and them, they need me, but I think I need them more in a way. The situation's unfortunate, but it's a blessing in disguise. I live with my mom, and I'm sure I always will. But we have the girls, so it's just a blessing. I'm awaiting to have my next surgery now, because they need to go in and take out the plate that they last put in 2004 and remove that. I have a screw sitting about right there that I have to watch constantly, like to make sure it don't pop out and cause me to have an emergency surgery, because that's what I avoid. But besides that, I'm taking a little break from calling a surgeon back in a different state. I just needed a break from trying to find somebody to help me. Like, the pain medication's helping me at least be able to take the break and not deal with so many surgeons when I'm already dealing with the surgeon about my plate. It was just a well-needed little break. I'm an advocate for not only fibrous dysplasia and McCune-Albright syndrome, but rare diseases in general, and that's what I want to use my life for, my story, and this is why I'm starting this blog. I have a lot to say. I have an amazing story, I think, that just obstacles I've overcame alone so far, let alone, what lies ahead for me. I'm an FD warrior. We have a support group on Facebook that changed my life. I no longer have to look for support or look for someone to understand my pain and what I go through every day. Like, I know that there's, over 1,000 people just on my Facebook that completely understand. And, sometimes it's really sad to, catch up with some people, but then again, they make me feel like it's home. Like, I'm so comfortable with all them. And I've been blessed to go attend a conference last November, and we got to meet, like a lot of us got to meet, and we got to attend conferences for, what lies ahead for us, and I cannot wait till next year for our next one, because it's just amazing. It's amazing to be a part of something so big. And then just recently, the beginning of this month, I got to attend Patient Day. I won a full scholarship to attend California, and that was amazing. It was so beautiful. But it was amazing to represent fibrous dysplasia there, because I was the only one. And Monday morning, 2 days from now, I start training to be a volunteer for the Fibrous Dysplasia Foundation. And it fills my heart. I mean, it's just a part of my story that I can't wait to see what happens in the future. It's going to be amazing. What we can do, what us warriors can do. And 3 very close friends of mine run FD Warriors organization, and if anybody can ever donate to the FD Foundation or the FD Warriors Inc., just please do, because they not only do the research and funding and everything, the only stuff that we have available, but they're there. They have constant support. I mean, any answer that you need, like, they're there for it. Both organizations. They're amazing for us. Thank you for listening.